Okay, I'm going to demonstrate how to draw a cloud with white and black charcoal on toned gray paper. The materials I'm using for this drawing include compressed white charcoal sticks, compressed white charcoal pencils, Strathmore tone gray paper, two blending stumps. One is going to be for the black charcoal and the other is going to be for the white charcoal. You don't want to mix those stumps and use them for either or. It'll just create a big mess. You're going to need a kneaded eraser, a badger hair brush. I'm using a flat number 4. This is an old Langnickel brush. These are difficult to come by nowadays, but Rosemary and Company in Great Britain makes imitation badger hair brushes that are even better than Langnickels. Like I said, I'm using a flat number 4. The size isn't quite as important as it's just a soft brush. If you can't get the imitation badger hair brush, a sable or an imitation sable should work just fine. I'm also using powdered charcoal, soft vine charcoal, and I use two makeup sponges. Once again, one is going to be for the black charcoal and the other for the white charcoal. You can find the list for most of these materials by going to my blog, which is mysketchjournal.com, and clicking on the resources link. I also have a link below in the description of this video that will take you right to that page where you can see most of the materials that I'm using, as also where you can get those materials. Okay, so getting started, I'm taking the white compressed charcoal stick and I'm just drawing an outline of the cloud, and I'm filling in some of the white with the charcoal pencil. The charcoal pencil I found can spread a little bit easier than the charcoal stick. Now you want to make sure that the cloud that you're drawing has a natural shape. If you look at clouds outside, they're not just a bunch of round repeating shapes or powder puffs. I see a lot of that in cloud drawing tutorials. You want to make sure that they have a natural shape. The best way to go about this is to observe clouds and sketch them. Now I'm blending in some of this compressed charcoal with a blending stump, and I'm just kind of going back and forth with the pencil and the stick. The pencil, like I said, it spreads a little more, but the stick tends to give me a little brighter white, and you can push down a little bit harder with the stick than you can with the pencil without breaking it. Using my finger there also to do some blending. Obviously this is sped up here, but this should give you an idea of how you can do your own drawing with charcoal. And at this point it's just filling in the white and spreading it out, at least until I get to the shadow areas. And it's very important that you use a separate blending stump for the white charcoal than you do for the dark charcoal. Now I went in there with some black charcoal and just added a little bit of shadow tone behind the white. I try not to mix the black charcoal too much with the white charcoal. It kind of gives it more of a weird gray effect. So I try to keep them somewhat separate, but you can blend them gently. Just be careful how you do that. This is a very large cumulus cloud that I had seen out in Wyoming, but these clouds can appear anywhere. Now I'm using the makeup sponge. I'm using a separate one for the white charcoal. The makeup sponge will give you a very smooth blending effect. Then I go back in with the charcoal pencil and just make some refinements to the edges, and just try to bring out a little more of the bright white in some of the areas of the cloud. These clouds, they have very subtle tonal shifts, and if you can capture that, it's going to give you an even more realistic effect. And I'm just going in with the charcoal pencil and just adding some brighter areas here. These clouds have very subtle tonal shifts, and if you can capture that in your drawing, it's going to give you an even more realistic effect. And going back in with that makeup sponge, like I said, that really gives you a nice smooth blend with your drawing. Now I'm using the imitation badger hair brush, and I'm going in and just brushing in a little bit of powdered charcoal in here. I just dip the brush into the powdered charcoal, I bring it up there, and I just kind of rub it in. The nice thing about the powdered charcoal is it's very gentle, and so you're not going to get a lot of unseemly blending with the white charcoal that you get if you just went in there with a charcoal stick. Now I'm going to indicate some of the hills in the landscape. I'm using a soft charcoal stick for this. This is all going to have to be smoothed and blended out, but getting in these darks is going to really help establish a value range for the landscape. The clouds, given that they are white, if you just had the clouds, it could tend for a pretty washed out look, but having these darks in the landscape will really help solidify the realism of the landscape. Also, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be posting a lot more videos in the upcoming weeks, months, and years, and you're going to learn a lot from this, so please subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you find it helpful, and leave your questions and comments below. So going in with the dark charcoal in the sky, and I'm just blending that in with my other makeup sponge that I've reserved for the dark charcoal. And it's just punching up that sky, the dark in the sky a little bit more, really helps bring out that cloud shape. I found that the makeup sponge, which you can get anywhere from Amazon, Walmart, whatever, I found that that is one of the smoothest, if not the most smooth blending tool for charcoal. I'm just adding some indication of distant cirrus clouds back there. Once again, I'm using the compressed white charcoal to do that. The biggest thing with clouds is not to worry about all the detail, but you want your clouds to have volume. You want them to feel three-dimensional. A lot of people focus on getting all the little billows in there and everything, but it's better to just get an overall shape and have it show volume than to get all these little billows and bumps and everything like that. And at this point, we're just doing a lot of little refinements. I'm trying to bring out some of the lighter values in the clouds. I said I'm more concerned about the overall volume. However, if I can indicate some of those little billows with some gentle volume, with some gentle value shifts in my cloud, I'm going to do that. Okay, now I'm going in with the makeup sponge for the dark charcoal and the kneaded eraser, just doing some smoothing, and then going back in with that kneaded eraser and adding some more texture, as well as some strokes of vine charcoal. It's also important when you're doing this to remember the direction of light and make sure that the direction of light is consistent on both the cloud and the landscape. And because this sketch is really about the cloud, I'm not going to focus too much on the landscape, but I do want to make it somewhat interesting. And at this point I'm using the sponge, the makeup sponge that I use for the dark charcoal, and I'm just going in and I was adding some different value shifts and everything like that. The nice thing also about using the tone gray paper is that you don't have to darken your whole sky in order to get the cloud defined. The sky is already somewhat darkened for you. And at this point I just want to add this other cloud back here because I don't want that main mass of cloud to be too centered, too much of a central point. So I want to offset that somewhat with this other cloud that I'm putting in. Once again, if you found this helpful, please subscribe below and please hit that like button. Also, leave your comments below on any challenges you've had with drawing clouds and what you think about this process. Also, be sure to check out my blog, mysketchjournal.com. I have a lot of great articles there. You can click on the link below to go to that blog, and when you get there, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming articles that I'll be posting.